All right, chapter 3. If I can find it. Here we go. Fire. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. So Gus hurried down the hall, thinking of how much fun he had in class. Mom's not going to believe I really played to scratch my back. He thought to himself, that Mr. Christie is really funny. And weird. The way he makes history fun, too. That dumb Al, he doesn't even know what he's missed today. He'll be mad when he finds out Mr. Christie had sinkers in class. Gus laughed at the thought of having one up on Al. All the way to the lounge, Gus thought about what it must be like to live in a lumberjack camp over 100 years ago. It sounded as if those lumberjacks were tough guys. Realizing the time, Gus started to trot down the hall towards the lounge. Wow, Mr. Christie must be getting to me, thought Gus. I think I smell smoke. Turning the corner of the hall, Gus could see blue haze coming from under the boys' bathroom door. Something was burning. Swinging the door open, Gus saw blue smoke filling the air in the white-tiled room. He could see Al leaning over the sink, lighting paper towels with his dad's lighter. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" yelled Gus. Startled, Al jumped. "Gus, the mouse! What are you doing sneaking up on me like that? Hey, check this out. These towels only make 30 seconds to burn. Take 30 seconds to burn. How was Chrissy's class? He dressed up again?" You better knock it off before someone catches you. I could see smoke coming from under the door. If Mr. Knowles catches you, you've had it. Mouse man, you forget. Knowles is my old man's buddy. He wouldn't do anything to me. What's the matter? You afraid something's going to happen? Al turned and dropped a lighted towel into the metal wastebasket. Smoke began to rise from the basket, and smell of burning trash filled the air. I'm going to go tell Mr. Christie. Gus turned to leave the bathroom. Knowing he was in trouble now, Al threw down the lighter and leaped at Gus with all his might, pushing him hard against the corner of the bathroom wall. "You're not going to tell anyone, wimp, you understand?" Just then, the flames began to leap out from the metal wastebasket. "I'm going to pull the fire alarm," shouted Gus. He pushed hard against Al, struggling to get away. Pushing back with all his strength, Al threw Gus against the tiled wall. Gus heard his head hit and slammed against the wall. The jerk to his neck made him bite his tongue, and then he slid down the wall to the floor. He could taste blood in his mouth. Closing his eyes in pain, he lay on the floor. Al stared at Gus for a second. When he saw the blood coming from Gus's mouth, he panicked. He pulled the door open and darted out of the bathroom and raced down the hall. Leaning forward, Gus began to cough. The bathroom was now filled with smoke. The wastepaper basket that stood beneath the paper towel dispenser had flames shooting out of it. What if the rest of the paper towels catch fire, thought Gus. What if the school burns down? They'll think I did it. Gus struggled to his feet. His head throbbed, and he was so dizzy he could barely stand. It was hard to see through the smoke. He coughed, choked, and moved towards the burning wastepaper basket. He leaned down, grabbed the basket near its base to pull it away from the other towels. Crying in pain, he fell back again. His hands burned from the metal wastebasket. "I've got to get out of here," he told himself. Gus crawled to the door, struggled to raise himself from the door handle, unwilling to touch the handle with his burned hands. Gus slipped his arm through the large handle and pulled the heavy door ajar. Holding the door with his foot, he squeezed through the opening and stumbled into the hall. "I've got to pull the alarm," Gus told himself, as he spotted the red firebox on the wall. Grabbing for the metal arm of the alarm, he slapped it down. A frightful sound of the fire warning filled the halls as Gus leaned against the wall, dizzy. He was so dizzy and sick, he slid down the wall to the floor. Scarcely had the first blast of the warning of the horn sounded when the classroom doors flew open. Teachers poked their heads out near the rooms, and they saw the smoke that had escaped into the halls. Then quickly organized their classes to leave the emergency exit. There was a fire at White Pine School. Gus lay his head on his arm and tried to breathe. Commotion was all around him. Then the last thing he remembered was Mr. Christie in his lumberjack outfit, bending over him and beginning to lift him in his arms. Things got really weird then. Gus could see swirling colors around him. It was as if he was falling into a deep hole, unable to escape the smell of the fire that filled his nostrils.